All right, well, thanks for being here, iFILMs. Means a lot to me. We bumped into a few other people's premieres, but today this is my first film production. Technical, everything, casuals. First film production. I'm on new company, Urban Edge Films, and this is straight to DVD. DVD's arrived this morning, and we've got the premiere now. So I'm buzzing. I just want to get a public reaction to a year's work with a new direction for me. Yeah, going from books to actually being a filmmaker under Urban Edge Films. I want to thank everyone personally for this invited audience tonight for coming to the premiere launch of my first film production, Casuals, the story of the legendary Terence Fashion. I know some of you have even travelled down from up north, especially for those you tell me that you come down for me and you come down to see the film, but seeing where you come from, Salford, Barnsley, and God forbid Hartlepool, I think tonight's a bit of escapism route to you. Anyway, you're welcome, all family, everyone's been invited here personally, it's not a public screening. And now just some brief details on tonight. We're going to show the film at 6:30, which is now 7, and we should end around about an hour and 15 minutes. When the main film's done, the main feature, we'll have a 5-10 minute break, just like use a loo, get some more drinks, or shoot off. Because we're going to do something unusual, we're going to show the extras. This film's been made for the DVD market, and we've used something like 53 people interviewed. Alright, so whoever buys a DVD has got 2 films in one. So we're going to show half out of the extras because there's some short films, some stuff we didn't fit in with the film, or you want to know a bit more. So it's worth watching the extras for another half hour. And when we're done, and then the second show will come in, and then what will happen is once the second show is done, we've got this to 1 o'clock. We've got the DJs that supply the music in the film, so we're going to party. We've got Electronic Youth and Dan Nolan, all that electro beat house stuff. And then we've got Bob the Mod to see us out with a few Motown B-sides, or Northern Soul as he calls it. Just for the lads from Barnsley, Salford and Hartlepool. Anyway, so keep it casual. I want to say personal thanks to all those who contribute to the film. You've all been credited on the film, and that comes from the director, Mick Kelly, and producer, Butch Chris will join me in that. We really appreciate it. We couldn't have done this film without you guys. And the 3 of us formed Urban Edge Films last year, and this is our first real production. And it's special thanks also to go to Alexandra Thomas and Jake Factor, who became part of our team in making Casuals. Our film sponsors were vital, and we could not bring this film without them. So I'm going to name check Fila, Gio Gio UK, The Business UK, Ball UK, and particular mentions for 80s casual classics, Neil Primmitt. Quite a few of our sponsors can't be here tonight because the second big party in London tonight is the Fila party, which I was invited to. And so quite a few of our sponsors are there. So it's good to see the turnout tonight, seeing what's going on there. But we mustn't forget the whole project was kick-started by a private investor, Ian Bailey. A big gratitude is owed to him. Thank you, Ian. Paddy Bowman did a real number for us on the editing. And finally, we would not be here if I did not have the committed support of my wife, Elaine. Now, she's not one for the limelight, but the passion and the drive in me to complete this work was consistent, simply because she believed in me. And there's a great feeling to have when you meet a few hurdles along the way. I'm playing it down, but when I say there's a few obstacles, trust me. I'm getting that look from Mrs. P, that says get off stage and play the bloody film. So, can we present the Urban Edge Films production of Casuals?
My name's Chris Donnelly and I'm from Gio Gio Clothing.
What did you think of the documentary today?
I loved it. I thought it was really well put together. It took me back into places that I never thought I'd go again, in as far as the clothes, the history, the fashion, the football. I just thought it was a really well-rounded, put together piece of work.
How important is it for your brand and for this era to be remembered, and this iconic clothing to come to the forefront again?
I think, you know, for us as a brand, you know, it's like anything. We sell product, and the bigger you get, the more commercial you get. So the fact that our brand and us as people, we're steeped in history and heritage, that goes back to, you know, the early 80s with the casuals era. So, you know, us as a brand, that authenticates everything that we do. So it's really important for us to be involved in authentic, real projects like this.
May I ask you, what was your best-selling pair of trainers from the casual time?
My favourite pair of trainers, weirdly enough, I've been watched the documentary, and the trainers I loved was called Adidas Club, and it was a pair of white leather boots, and they had white stripes, and you never ever hear anything about them. And I was the only person that I'm aware of that used to buy them, and they used to be 25 quid, and I used to buy them from a place in Wythenshawe, Manchester, off Civic Centre, and they was my favourite trainers, but weirdly enough you never see them anywhere.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mick Kelly, I'm the director of Casuals.
I'm Butch Chris, and I'm involved with the company which made Casuals, and we are getting a load of productions together.
So could you tell us a little bit how you came up with documenting the concept of casuals?
Yeah, well, it's kind of, Casuals is a bit of an untold story, really. Skinheads, punks, mods, there's a well-told story. We've seen the footage, we know the background of how those cultures happen. Whereas casuals are quite untold, really, yet hugely important for the 80s in particular. And the influence they have today on designer shops across every city and every high street across the country. Would they be there without the casuals in the 80s? We're obsessed with designer clothes and those designer labels? Probably not, quite frankly. So we want to tell a story about this untold story. And that was the concept behind Casuals.
How important has it been from the clothing companies helping you and giving you support and the basis to tell this story?
Well, obviously, without the support of companies who saw the benefit of us telling this story, quite frankly, we may not have had the budget to make this happen. So we're hugely thankful to companies who've come on board and help us, like Fila and 80s Casual Classics, who've come on board, who've seen really the benefit in helping us tell this story, because they appreciate it's a story that a lot of people of a certain age would reminisce and understand, but it's a story that probably hasn't been told, really.
Do you think a lot of trends and a lot of the clothing from the original casuals movement, which came around in the second movement as well, will come back again?
Well, there's this new thing called modules that we talk about in the film, which is if you go to pretty much any shopping centre right now, you'll see these kids of a certain age, 17, 18, who might have a Fila tracksuit on, but they might have a Ben Sherman shirt on, and they might be beside them have a Harrington on. They're kind of a mix between mods and casuals. They're kind of in a classic way that the mod revival took the classic mod look of the 60s but gave it a little twist. They're doing the similar thing now. They're taking the mods and casuals fashion of the past and giving their own little twist. So these things are always cyclical. They're always cyclical, and it's probably time for the casuals to come back in the same sort of way.
Butch, having seen the project now come to fruition and been put together, are you guys happy with the final product?
I think it's terrific. This was an area of life I knew very little about. It had passed me by. So when Mick and Cass came up with this idea of doing a film about this fashion area, I wasn't able to contribute much. But having seen it and the work they put into it and did, it's fascinating, and it gripped me because it was an area of life I hadn't seen before, and yet I lived through it. But I wasn't of the age group, obviously, to be involved, but it was nevertheless a fascinating insight into the way in which these things occur and as they evolve and change. So I was very impressed with the way it was put together by our little team. Very good.
May I ask now, what is the plan for this production? What is going to happen with this documentary?
Well, it's a DVD. It's been released for Christmas. It can be pre-ordered from Amazon now. and it's on wide sale in the lead up to Christmas. So hopefully, if somebody else out there feels similar to me, they might find it interesting to watch.